Well, ladies and gents, Ray, the film that no one actually asked for, but apparently they're still planning on making this new Star Wars film. Damon Lindelof was originally involved, and then he exited, and Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, the director, remained on. This is just a joke. Kathleen Kennedy pushing forward with this film about Ray is a joke. And the backstory behind this film and what it was going to be centred on is just all entirely a joke. I mean, it's just absolutely laughable. Like, it really, really is. Genuinely. So, just as a bit of a background, Damon Lindelof pitched to Lucasfilm the movie, right? Then got another writer on board. Then they attached a director. And then he was apparently asked to then leave the project. What? That's so... And then they kept the director? So bizarre. That's very, very, very odd in terms of structuring for Hollywood. It's very unusual. Genuinely, really, really unusual. So we've learnt a little bit about this. Damon Lindelof has confirmed that Lucasfilm actually asked him to leave the film. That they originally said, yeah, please do keep writing this. So they paid him, and then they still asked him to leave. Good work there. But then they also, we've had revealed from Damon, well, from other sources as well as sort of background stuff, is what this film would have centered on. But then, in doing so, they're now revealing what the new film will lack, because apparently people have walked from that previous script. Honestly, it's a shit show. If it doesn't sound like it's making too much sense, it's really not. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense anyway. Short of it is, Damon Lindelof pitched a film to Lucasfilm. They agreed, write that film out. They then asked him to leave the film, and now they're reworking elements of that film for the worse. Genuinely for the worse. So, believe it or not, Daisy Ridley was never going to actually be in his film. It was going to be set 60 years in the future. Yeah, and Daisy Ridley wasn't going to be in it. But Kathleen Kennedy really wanted Daisy Ridley, obviously. So hit subscribe if you're new here. Let's take a look. So. Star Wars Celebration brought some big announcements, including a movie starring Daisy Ridley that's set 15 years after the Skywalker saga. Not 60, like Damon Lindelof wanted. Damon Lindelof was originally writing the script before being replaced by Stephen Knight. This is a movie he pitched, guys. And we recently learned more about what he had planned for the project, which I'll go into in a minute. But now he's confirmed that his departure wasn't actually his decision. Creative differences. I was in talks. I was in more than talks to join the Star Wars universe, Lindelof tells Esquire. I joined the Star Wars universe, i.e. they liked his pitch, and then he was asked to leave. Do you see why? Honestly, it's a shit show. Will I get back in line outside the club and try to get back in again? Absolutely. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. Or, again, try, as Yoda would say. So the fact Lindelof hopes to return to Star Wars may suggest that his split with Lucasfilm wasn't on bad terms. Kathleen Kennedy has made a habit of clashing with creatives over the years. That is an understatement. That is an understatement. Massively. So it's possible the writer is just choosing his words carefully here after parting ways with the studio over those all too familiar creative differences. I cited creative differences the moment this happened. And this is a total joke. So Damon Lindelof may choose to reveal more in future, obviously. Now they say the Ray-led movie excitement remains high. No, it doesn't. But let's take a look at what was actually going to happen. So, Star Wars, Damon Lindelof's original script revealed, and it's a shocker. It's shockingly bad. Shockingly bad. So, one reliable insider has now revealed just how different Lindelof's vision was. Damon Lindelof's Star Wars project had an elderly Rey training 2 Jedi, a man and a woman. They're both going to be black. That's important because they point it out. That's why I'm saying it. He clearly planned to jump much further into the galaxy's future, skipping the formation of the new Jedi Order and taking us to a point where Rey's life is nearing its end. But Kathleen Kennedy doesn't want that, because the Force is female and she's got a hard-on or a wet clam for bloody Rey, it seems. Massively. Oh, sorry, I put that image in your head. Anyway. But, you know, so she's in the midst of training 2 Jedi Knights who would presumably be the focal point of future stories. That's a really smart thing to do. Just jump way into the future, get new people good to go. They'll be more likeable to the audience. That is actually a good decision, but they decided not to do that. That would have been one way to finally move on from the Skywalker saga, but it's clear now that Lucasfilm had other ideas and doesn't want to gloss over the time Rey Skywalker spent trying to restore the place of Jedi as the galaxy's protectors. So rumour has it that Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, who worked with Lindelof on Watchmen, was the movie's male lead, but has since left the project. There's a little bit more information. Not massive amounts, so, but again, a little bit more. So, John Rosher, so Jeff Snyder shared a few more details. So Lindelof was fired, which he's now confirmed. And he says that the story would have taken place 60 years after Skywalker saga's conclusion, with Rey training a male and female Jedi. They would have been played by 2 black leads, though Snyder confirms the male actor, who has since walked away from the project, was not Aquaman Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. Unconfirmed really at this point, but we'll see. The biggest bombshell, however, is that rather than bringing Daisy Ridley back and using VFX to make her appear older, Lindelof's ideal casting pick would have been Helen Mirren, although she was never in talks for the role, but was very much the prototype for what the writer wanted. Snyder concludes by saying that the script simply wasn't very good and cast doubt on Knight's version, having much in common with Lindelof's. Look, I disagree with that it's not very good. We don't know. Lindelof's not like a massively great writer anyway, but goodness me, it can't be worse than what we're going to get. And from a narrative perspective, jumping 60 years in the future is a much smarter way to go. It also sounds like Finn wouldn't have been part of that original version, though both he and Oscar Isaac's Poe Dameron may well return in this upcoming untitled project from Sharmina Bay-Chinoy. Lindelof clearly planned to jump much further. I think that's the way to go, but apparently not. This is all bollocks, basically. Absolute nonsense. What do you guys think? I think it sounds like absolute poo. But let me know down below. Look, it's going to get worse than this, isn't it? Like, let's be honest. Of course it's going to be worse than this. Cheers, guys. Take care.